Welcome. In front of me is a Nokia XR21, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick overview of this phone. So let's just jump straight into it. Oh. So we have our device right here. It is a little bit on the rugged side with a very kind of chunky build right here and a little bit of a heft to it as well. Now this seems to be kind of like a plastic coated with some kind of rubber, but this is just a pure kind of guess of like how it feels. Anyway, here we have some info as well. 2-year of warranty, cool. OS upgrades, security updates, cool. 100% recyclable aluminum chassis inside, okay, cool. Anyway, what else we get in here? Get paperwork. Okay, no one cares about that. We get a charging cable. Okay, pretty standard stuff. And we get no charger. Again, pretty standard stuff. So let's turn on the device. Starting off with the display right here, this is a 6.5-inch display, 1080 by 2400 resolution, LCD IPS, 120 Hz refresh rate, and a peak brightness of about 550 nits, 77% screen to body ratio, and about 400 pixels per inch. And obviously, because it's Nokia, it's running basically a stock version of Android, though saying stock version of Android doesn't mean it's running the Pixel Android, like obviously any kind of Pixel would, because Pixels have a little bit of extra love added by Google to that device. Here you just get that like bare bones Android. Anyway, now flipping it over, we have a dual camera setup, although it at least looks like one. And the main sensor is a 64 megapixel wide sensor. Then we got an 8 megapixel ultra wide sensor, and you can shoot videos at 4K 30 frames or 1080p 30 frames. And at the front we have a selfie of 16 megapixel wide 1080p 30 frames. So that's about all we have for the video, and obviously cameras. Now going around the device, we have our SIM tray at the bottom, and I believe this is just a SIM tray, so no expandable storage, which is a little bit of a shame. Yep, literally just a dual SIM tray. Then next to that we have our microphone, our charging port, speakers, power button that doubles as a fingerprint sensor, volume rockers, headphone jack. No clue what that is. Then we get another microphone for loudspeaker and another button. Again, no clue what that one is either. So you have two buttons right here that do something, which I assume we can probably figure out once the device is set up. Okay, now continuing on, let's go into the internals. So going into it, we have a 4800 mAh battery, and for the weight and size of this device, I would have expected at least 5K. So we're a little bit shy, close, but not there yet, while the device is pretty chunky and heavy. We have 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of built-in storage, which is not upgradable. So neither can you buy more storage or device that comes with more storage, nor can you insert a SD card and have more, which is a little bit of an L right here, considering 128 gigs is not that much nowadays. And when it comes down to the processor powering this device, it's a Snapdragon 695 5G. So obviously we have 5 GHz connectivity on this device, but the processor itself isn't necessarily that great. Now moving on, the device is running on Android 12. I believe right now the newest Android is 13, so we are one Android behind. But that being said, this is what the device comes with in the box. We technically do have a 3-year upgrade of Android, so this device should either already have a update to Android 13 or will have it hopefully shortly. So that's one important thing, as well as it will have a 4-year security updates. So your device should be secure from any kind of like wonkiness of hacking and stuff like that for at least 4 years. I'll keep that with in mind. Just because it's secured doesn't mean that you going and downloading a GTA 6 game for mobile will not give you any kind of dolphins, you know. So continuing, there's not much more to say about this device. I'm gonna go into the build quality right here. So we do have glass front, obviously, Gorilla Glass Victus. We have plastic back, plastic frame, and yeah, that's about all for the build quality. Last thing that I'll mention is the price, and this device comes at about $500 US. Now that is a steep price for such a device. It is labeled as a rugged device, though arguably even for a rugged device it's kind of failing at that. And I did make that argument before, but rugged devices aren't good. And I don't mean as a spec wise, I just mean as a build quality. So as an example, this is supposedly pseudo rugged. I can't even call it a rugged device, but it's kind of like on the box, like our toughest smartphone yet. If this is your toughest smartphone yet, then you have failed. Besides, no, it's not. Have we forgotten about the NOKIA 3310? That is a tough device. This ain't crap. So yeah, Nokia, if you want to claim that you have the toughest smartphone yet, you have some big shoes to fill from yourself. But with that being said, what I'm getting at, even with the rugged devices, is I would argue and would kind of employ people to think about this as a better alternative. Buy a normal device that is cheaper and probably performs better than this, and just get a rugged case. The reason I recommend rugged case over a rugged device is because you start beating this device, right? It gets scratched up, scuffed, and it becomes, for instance, unpleasant to hold because the plastic is rough around the edges from dropping, and whatever the case may happen to it, obviously it will stay like that unless you literally take the device out of its frame and switch the frame of the phone. Well, if you just bump up your case that you have put on the device, that gets taken off, thrown out, replaced with a new one. Boom, you're good to go. You have a cheaper device. It will look better. And the case, once it gets damaged, you can just swap it out for a new one and still save money. So that's basically my argument for rugged devices. And this device at $500 US is a little bit overpriced for what it offers. Now, this might be kind of like off topic here. I would consider phones like that be maybe worth $500 if I'm certain that the phone is, for instance, secure, that it's not gathering data and all that stuff, but it's running Android. That's if any company is claiming that it's not gathering data while it's running Android, that's absolute bullshit. And obviously this phone isn't even claiming such a thing. It's a steep price for a device that is running stock Android. There is very little value in here, and you can get for $500 a much better device that will perform better in every single way. And the only downside is it won't be rugged, which this phone is plastic. It's not durable anyway. So yeah, that's basically where I stand. And like I said, I would recommend looking into other devices and save up a little bit money and just get a better case. That's about it. So anyway, if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.